since the city signed off on any sort of walkway work here at the Royal Inn. I'll explain what I found in newly obtained inspection records.
And are homes in Sunrise Beach safe? Tonight, ABC 17 News investigates after the former fire chief tells us hydrants can't hook up to certain water mains in the area.
And we're still talking about those cold nights. I'll let you know when we'll warm up a little bit, and I'm tracking some rain. I'll show you when that moves in coming up.
ABC 17 News at 10 on KMIZ starts now.
The balcony at a now-closed Columbia Motel was last repaired more than 20 years ago. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer. Joey has the night off. ABC 17 News investigates the inspection history of the Royal Inn a day after its walkway partially collapsed. ABC 17's Lucas Geisler is live at the motel now. Lucas, you got a hold of a year's worth of inspection records.
Ashley, the records that I got date back to the 1970s when this motel was first built. The only record the city has of any work done on the balconies of the motel are from 1996. Inspection records at the Royal Inn we got show that the only record the city has of any work on the motel's balcony was more than 20 years ago. The report, the size of an index card, shows balcony repair work in February 1996. That's the only evidence the city has that any work was done on the balcony since the motel was built in the 1970s. Columbia has no law requiring routine inspections of elevated walkways. City officials say problems are usually found after complaints. That's what got city investigators out to the Royal Inn on Monday when an anonymous tipster told them about the degrading concrete. City building inspectors come out when businesses make major alterations. The most recent example for the Royal Inn came last May when it performed roofing work. The business was also inspected in 2012 when it changed its fire alarms. Royal Inn was cited in July by the fire department for a lack of smoke detectors and emergency lighting. And the fire department tells us they're working closely with the owners of the business, Wahegu LLC, on what comes next with the walkway. I did speak to a resident who's still packing up and leaving as they've been ordered by the city to get out of here, and they hope that they do work it out with the city, that they've enjoyed their stay here and liked working with the business owners in their time at the Royal Inn. Reporting live here in Columbia, Lucas Geisler, ABC 17 News.
Lucas, thanks. City laws do require special inspections of things like walkways for new construction. The city has no records of a special investigation or other inspections done at the Royal Inn in the past decade. Breaking news tonight on ABC 17 News. Columbia police responded to Clarkson and Burnham roads after reports of gunfire. A delivery driver told police a man fired a gun and then pointed the gun toward the delivery vehicle. After investigating, officers didn't find any evidence of a shooting. They say the suspect is described as a man in a Cardinals t-shirt and khaki shorts who ran east from the scene.
Well, it's not going to be as cold as last night, but tonight's still on the chilly side. You'll still need that coat as you head out the door in the morning. Temperatures starting off in the upper 30s by morning with those clear skies. Some patchy frost is possible, but it's not going to be as widespread for tomorrow. It's mainly in low-lying areas as the temperatures are going to be warmer tonight. Tomorrow, we reach into the 50s. It'll take a while for that air to warm up. You'll still need that jacket if you're heading out for lunch. Temperatures in the upper 50s. The sun will be out all day, though. It'll make it feel a little bit better, and the breeze stays under 10 miles an hour. Heading into Thursday and into the weekend, the daytime highs, they're still below average. So we're on the cool side the next several days, and we're still looking at some patchy morning frost again Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then we're also looking at the potential for some rain by Friday morning. We're going to track that. I'll have an hourly look at that rain and who could see the most coming up in my full forecast.
In a lawsuit filed today, the owner of a crumbling building in Jefferson City says he is not responsible for any damage to a neighboring building. ABC 17's Barry Mangold is taking an in-depth look at the claim tonight. He joins us live from the building at 200 East High Street. Barry, the lawsuit refers to an agreement made in the late 1890s.
And I got a copy of that agreement at the Recorder of Deeds office today, Ashley, and it addresses exactly why tearing down the rest of this building is so complicated. And that's because these two buildings share a wall. In fact, 202 East High Street was built leaning on 200. That kind of construction is not around anymore. And so the ongoing legal battle is going all the way back to the 19th century to figure out who needs to pay. Commuters in downtown Jefferson City have passed by the decaying building at 200 East High Street for over 4 months now. A lawsuit filed today by the owner of the crumbling building, Andy Neidert, claims he is not responsible for any damage to the interior wall that connects his building to his neighbor. If that wall goes down, it could destroy 202 East High. His reasoning goes back to when these photos were taken. The lawsuit claims an agreement between property owners in 1898 makes their case. The agreement says the two buildings shall share the wall until it is condemned or destroyed by accident or other providential causes.
They're interpreting it as the wall has already been compromised. The wall has not been compromised yet. Not yet.
Carol Weberg, the owner of 202, says the interior wall is still up, so the deal is not off. In fact, she claims Neidert could have prevented the outside wall from collapsing.
It wasn't an accident. He had plenty of time to see that that wall was failing. It's been failing for 2-3 years.
And currently there is no plan to demolish what's left of 200 East High Street, and the clock is ticking. The city is prepared to start the process of taking over the demolition project in 8 days if there is no plan. And officials warn that 200 East High Street could totally collapse if it is not addressed soon. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Barry Mangold, ABC 17 News.
Barry, thanks. The owner of 202 East High Street says an engineer is coming in to inspect the condition of the interior wall and the building as a whole on Thursday. Tonight, Columbia Public Schools is responding after another racial discrimination lawsuit was filed against the district. We told you last night Hickman High School Assistant Principal Jerome Sally claimed CPS paid him less because of his age and race. CPS responded to a request for comment today. The district's legal defense says, quote, "We firmly believe the district took no discriminatory actions against Mr. Sally and look forward to fully defending the district against the allegations." A St. Louis attorney filed a lawsuit against Governor Parson in his office. It claims they are overcharging him for public records requests related to dark money contributions. Now, according to the lawsuit, the governor's office is charging more than $3,500 and imposing a 120 business day waiting period. This for a request related to communications between that office and dark money operations in the state. An Oklahoma man could face life in prison after he admitted to robbing a Columbia hotel. Daryl Black pleaded guilty in federal court today for using a gun to rob Staybridge Suites on Keene Street last year. Police arrested Black the same day in Jefferson City. A sentencing hearing has not yet been scheduled. A federal judge dismissed several claims in a wrongful death lawsuit filed on behalf of Kenneth Suttner. Suttner's mother claimed the Howard County School District fostered a culture of bullying. She also accused it did nothing to stop harassment and discrimination he faced for mental and physical disabilities. She says the bullying led to his suicide in December of 2016. 6 of 12 counts were dismissed, mostly because the federal judge says Suttner's mother didn't exhaust all of her options before filing the suit. The remaining 6 counts head back to Howard County Court, where the district says it will file motions to dismiss those as well. Tonight, the Sedalia Police Department, is asking for the public's help in solving a robbery. Police released a picture of the suspect late this afternoon. Take a look at this right on your screen. They say a person robbed the medical pharmacy yesterday. Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $1,000 for information leading to an arrest. A former high school staff member in California, Missouri, pleaded guilty to having sexual contact with a student. Authorities arrested the former elementary school counselor in March after a 16-year-old said he slept with her in the summer of 2017. Now, the court sentenced her to 5 years of probation. She will, of course, still have to be arraigned for a separate case after she allegedly had sexual contact with a student in Cooper County. Tonight, Hurricane Michael's death toll continues to go up. 29 people are now confirmed dead as a result of the storm. It hit the Florida Panhandle as a Category 4 hurricane. Roughly 150,000 people in Florida are without power. It is unknown how long it will stay like this and how those communities will be recovering, like that in Mexico Beach. Missouri Task Force 1 is still helping those affected by Hurricane Michael tonight. The group's K-9 teams will be stationed in Mexico Beach tomorrow. The rest of the team is in Panama City, set to complete targeted searches at the direction of the incident management team. Yesterday, 12 team members searched around Tyndall Air Force Base, while 4 members searched debris in Mexico Beach, Florida, with dogs. We would like to thank those who participated in the ABC 17 Fox 22 telethon for Red Cross disaster relief. From 6 this morning until 6 tonight, volunteers raised $5,400 to help those affected by Hurricane Michael. We do want to thank our community partners, Downtown Appliance, Central Bank, Shelter Insurance, and Phyllis Nichols and Cheryl Kelly from State Farm for helping with those efforts.
Coming up on ABC 17 News at 10, where the news comes first.
ABC 17 News Investigates is taking a close look at fire hydrants in Sunrise Beach. See what we found after a former fire chief told us some hydrants can hook up to certain water mains in the area.
And I'm tracking that rain for Friday and taking a look at the weekend and the Tigers' homecoming forecast next.
It is home to some of the most expensive houses in mid-Missouri. It may also be home to some of the houses most vulnerable to fires in our area. 3 years ago, I started looking into the lack of fire hydrants protecting the Lake of the Ozarks community of Sunrise Beach. Earlier this year, a fire destroyed an apartment complex there, actually this one that you're taking a look at now. During that fire, firefighters struggled with low water pressure, so I decided to take a second look. What I found in tonight's ABC 17 Investigates is the number of hydrants might not matter, and the problem of fighting fires in the area is not going to be an easy fix.
There are some water mains that we can't put a fire hydrant on because the main size is too small.
That's former Sunrise Beach Fire Chief Dennis Riley before he left the department a few weeks ago. I contacted him shortly after a fire ripped through 10 condos at the lake last month. I reminded him about a story I did 3 years ago. We found the fire district's hydrants to be spread farther apart than recommended international codes. But the problem runs deeper than not just enough hydrants.
Well, when we go back to the water company, we did some research. That's a 4-inch service.
So you can't use it?
So we can't put a fire hydrant on there.
Riley told me the 4-inch water mains mean Sunrise Beach can't have a hydrant attached at all. According to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources regulations, hydrants need to be placed on at least 6-inch mains because of the amount of pressure they require. I did some checking and found many cities and fire districts in the United States require even larger mains than 6 inches. That's a problem for the high-priced homes in the Port of Sema subdivision served by Sunrise Beach. Some of the water mains are only 4 inches, and Riley says they were never intended to protect homes.
And those people that live out in those communities actually had to pay an assessment to add the initial fire hydrants. But the system was really designed to provide water to the houses.
He says it's an issue dating back to around 2007 when the water mains were installed. So I started to check Riley's claim and why this was allowed to happen. The general manager of Public Water Supply District Number 4, the water company for the area, told me over the phone there may be 4-inch mains in some spots. However, when I asked for an on-camera interview, okay. Can you go on camera and tell me that? Because all I've got is an interview from the former chief saying the issues in Port of Sema, we can't hook up to these mains. He told me he couldn't. He was not the only one who couldn't answer my questions. Who was responsible for overseeing the Port of Sema construction? Who let this happen? I started with the state, but DNR declined to interview with me for 3 weeks. DNR sent me to Sunrise Beach's mayor. Mayor Mooney told me to call City Hall. I was then directed to Camden County. By the end of it, I had spoken to everyone from the clerk to the city engineer, and not one person could answer my question. Where are the 4-inch mains in Sunrise Beach? And are the homes in Port of Sema and the rest of Sunrise Beach safe? Currently, the city of Osage Beach at the lake requires 6-inch mains for single-family homes and 8-inch mains for apartment buildings. The former GM of Public District Water Supply Number 4 did email me today. He said the district's policy as of 2017 is no mains smaller than 6 inches. But this isn't the first time there's been trouble with water pressure and fire protection in Sunrise Beach. Back in 2016, the threat of legal action forced upgrades to sprinkler systems at 3 condo complexes. I'm going to keep checking in on these codes in Sunrise Beach and report back to you about the progress. Pedal pubs are coming to mid-Missouri. The company is waiting for a city ordinance change before it hits the streets of Columbia. A pedal pub employee steers the trolley, and that we're told that it holds up to 16 passengers. Tours last about 2 hours and include a few stops at local bars and restaurants. Columbia will require the party bikes to follow specific routes downtown. The city council plans to discuss pedal pubs in November. The company is already licensed in 40 other U.S. cities.
Well, if you were out early this morning, you could feel that cold air. We had a record low this morning of 28 degrees. The old record from 1976 was 30, and we should be, if you go according to records and averages, 45 degrees. So we were way below average, which was the coldest since April 7th when we dropped down to 21 degrees. Well, the colder weather pattern is here. You can certainly see that from the high temperatures here. This is what's average. Normally we're around 66 right now, but boy, we're way below that for the high temperatures, and we are going to stay in that cooler weather pattern for a little while. Right now it's still 49 degrees at Sedalia. It has dropped to 48 at Columbia. It's cooling down out there tonight, and with our clear sky and light winds, we'll touch the upper 30s briefly in the morning. Patchy frost at best is expected. It's not going to be as widespread as this morning. As the winds stay light, we have clear skies, which will lead to a sunny start to your day tomorrow. It's going to be nice and bright out there, but cold in the morning, starting off at 40 at 8 o'clock, making it to 55 by noon and staying in those 50s tomorrow. That breeze will have a bit of a chill to it, but with the sunshine, it won't be a bad day, as we'll see the wind up to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow night's a little colder. We drop down a couple more degrees from tonight. We drop tomorrow night into the mid to upper 30s, and patchy frost is expected again. The reason for that cool down tomorrow night is this next cold front drops south tomorrow and cools us down just a little bit for tomorrow night and into Wednesday. Now, it's dry. You can see just how dry the air is as higher pressure continues to come in behind these fronts. But out to the west, there is a wave that's going to pull in here. It's a pretty weak wave, but it may bring some rain by Friday morning. In fact, as early as about 5 to 6 in the morning, we could start to see a few light showers, but it isn't going to be a lot of rain. And you'll notice this is the projection for about 7 in the morning. Watch how it kind of dries to the north, and we start to see the better chance of rain through the afternoon moving south. So it looks like if that rain can hold together, because it is going to be running into some dry air, the better chance is going to be south of Interstate 70. Then we get this front dropping in here, and that gets us back into that cool and dry weather for the weekend. The weekend right now is looking sunny. The rainfall amounts from Friday, not much, up to 1/10 of an inch. Possibly some spots could get a 1/4 inch in the Ozarks. So with that said, it looks like that rain moves out by Friday evening. Good news for Sports Zone Football Friday and for the Mizzou homecoming activities. Yeah, it's going to be cool. This is Friday evening you're looking at, but it does look dry with temperatures dipping into the 50s. Then for the weekend, we have a chilly breeze blowing Saturday. Temperatures Saturday stay in the upper 50s, but it's good football weather, and it does look dry with all that sunshine. Temperatures won't feel too bad, but again, that wind is going to be a bit on the cool side. Other than that, it just looks really nice. Sunday's a little bit cooler, 56 degrees, and next week, it looks like this cool weather pattern persists. We have a 40 to 50% chance that temperatures next week will be below average, and it looks fairly dry. Below average precipitation continues. The only chance of rain in the forecast the next 7 days is Friday morning, and Ashley, that's not going to be very much rain, as you saw.
All right, Sharon, thank you. And we're going to show you what the CDC has to say about a disease with no vaccine that's infected dozens of children around the country. A new United Nations report says in the past 20 years, more than 1 million people have died from natural disasters. Now, the report looked at worldwide disasters from 1998 to 2017. It found 4.4 billion others have been hurt or displaced by natural disasters. And at the same time, disasters have caused nearly $3 trillion in economic damage, an increase of more than 150% in disaster-related costs in the last 20 years. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says a polio-like disease that causes paralysis is affecting children across the U.S. Now, the disease is known as AFM. It has more than 60 confirmed cases in the U.S., spread across 22 states. There is no vaccine for this disease, which is 90% of its cases affecting children. Researchers stress the condition is a rare one and say washing your hands is the best way to defense against this disease. Mizzou women's basketball standout Sophie Cunningham is getting some big-time recognition. ABC 17 sports director Andrew Kaufman tells us where she stacks up against others in the SEC.
Sports Zone starts now. Sponsored by U.S. Cellular.
The Mizzou football team is through its toughest stretch of the season, but there is no time to exhale. The Tigers will host Memphis on Saturday at 3 p.m. It's homecoming, and all eyes on head coach Barry Odom as the Tigers look to snap their 3-game losing streak. MU is 61-40-5 all-time in homecoming games. The Tigers have won 11 of the last 16, but MU fans have not forgotten about Middle Tennessee in 2016. The players say they have not either, and they know they cannot take Memphis lightly. Quarterback Drew Lock says he's ready to run the table the second half of the season.
There's absolutely zero doubt in any of our minds that we're an extremely good football team right now, because we think we should be one of the best teams in the country, and we know we're one of the best teams in the country. Our record doesn't depict that right now, but at the end of the season, if you go 10-3, it'll just prove to everyone and ourselves that we are the team that we thought we could be.
A few notes from practice. Wideout Nate Brown did some running drills, but he did not participate in the team drills. He's listed on the depth chart, but it's unlikely he'll be ready to go on Saturday. Wide receiver Emmanuel Hall is still not back with the team. This is video from him last week. His father passed away this past Thursday, and he's taking this time to be with his family.
He said, "Coach, I'm so ready to get back and help this team." So I think that would probably be the way that we would end up going, and he health-wise is in a lot better spot right now than he was last Tuesday. So I think we're getting really close.
And you can hear much more from Barry Odom and Drew Lock in our web extra online at abc17news.com. The Mizzou women's basketball team is picked to finish 5th in the SEC. Mississippi State is the media's pick to win the conference. Sophie Cunningham is preseason All-SEC, but she's not the preseason player of the year, although she did receive some votes. Mississippi State's Tiara McCowan received that nod. Mizzou's first exhibition only a few weeks away, October 29th against Missouri Western. And to the high school scoreboard, Vienna softball beat St. Elizabeth 9-3 to win the district championship. The Lady Eagles are 24-0 headed into sectionals. What a season so far. In-state girls golf, Eldon's Cassidy Hull finished in 7th place in Class 1. Rockbridge's Olivia Sowers finished in 4th in Class 2. And the Bruin girls took home 3rd place as a team in Class 2. Congratulations to everyone out at the state golf tournament. We'll have another look at your forecast in just a moment.
We have another cold start to the day tomorrow with patchy frost, although the sun's going to help us out as we see those temperatures warming into the upper 50s. It'll still be on the cool side the next few days with a chance of some light rain Friday, especially the first half of the day, and then a nice bright weekend with great weather to get outdoors, especially if you like this cool weather.
If you like that cool weather.
Yeah.
Sharon, thanks for joining us.
Kimball's next.
Good night.